Hi, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started by doing a recap of our latest feature. Today's feature is something I've been having quite a lot of fun with. And it's called it's an Ragic AI function, and it's called the mention to Ragic AI. So I'm gonna use the next question of the Office Hour question as a test. Okay. So here's the next office hour question that I'm going to answer. So I'm going to ask Ragic AI to answer this for me, and let's see how good he does. So in the comment section, I could just use the @mention to Ragic AI. So I'll mention to Ragic AI, can you answer this question from a Ragic user for me? I'm the host of the Ragic Office Hour program. Okay, so let's see if the Ragic AI can answer the user question regarding homepage and tabs for me. And I'll take a look at how well he does. And we'll need to wait a little bit. And Ragic AI has a few things that he can do. He can respond in the comment section, and he can update the record directly right here. So let's take a look at his answer. So he said, "Hi Rashid, this is a great question. Organizing your Ragic modules, what you're referring to as tabs, functions, and different are Ragic called tab menu sets. By default, when a user logs in, they're redirected to." Well, let's take a look at the question first, in case our viewers doesn't know what the question is. So let's take a look at the question first. So currently, when we user log in and land on the page of default tab menu, which has sheets of that default tab menu, is it possible that when user log in, the first homepage shows all the tabs? Okay, so you're referring to the tab menus, but you want to display all the tabs on the first homepage. That kind of goes against the purpose of tab menus. The tab menu is supposed that when you have too many tabs, you could organize them into tab menus so that you don't have to see all of them at the same time. So if you want to have these 5 tabs, each has its own sheets, is it possible when a user logs in and show all these tab menus? You're considering these tab menus as different modules. They're kind of like different modules, but no, it's the purpose of the tab menu is to organize them into different tab menus, tab menu sets, so that you don't see so many at the same time. So if you really need to see all of those tabs at the same time, you will need to move them into the same tab menu, because that's the purpose of tab menu sets. So they're separating different tabs into different sets, so you only see one set at a time. So if you really want to see them at the same time, just move all of them to the default tab menu set. Okay, let's see how the AI did. So you're referring to tabs that function as different modules, or what Ragic called tab menu sets, correct? By default, user logs in, they're redirected to default tab menu set homepage, which displays sheets categorized within that specific tab menu set. Okay, if you have separated modules into their own distinct tab menu sets, then Ragic's design indicates that you landed on the tab menu set first. Yes, that's correct. And to access and see all your modules tab menu sets, user need to use the top menu drop-down menu located the upper left corner of the page, usually next to your database name. next to the database name. Not sure what he means by the database name, but at the top right, top left menu, yes. And this drop-down lists all the tab menu sets. By selecting different tab menu sets from this, user navigates to the homepage associated to that module where they can see the sheets belonging to it. Yeah, that's correct. And is it possible to have a single homepage that shows all tab menu sets? Ragic standard way is not designed to show it directly simultaneously upon login. The homepage always corresponds to the current selected tab menu sets by default. Yeah, that's correct. Workaround. If you want a dashboard-like landing page that lists your modules, ensure your default tab menu set is largely empty of regular sheets. Create a custom homepage, or use an existing sheet, a simple welcome sheet in the default tab menu set serve as a high-level dashboard. That's actually an idea that I haven't thought of. Yeah, you could create a sheet as the welcome sheet as a dashboard. I have seen users do this on Ragic to create a sheet as a custom homepage as the welcome sheet. And on the dashboard sheet, you can manually place these links. Yeah, that's kind of a way to do it. I wouldn't say this is a recommended workaround, but that is a workaround. But what I would recommend is to place all the tabs in the default tab menu set. But so yeah, the answer is quite reasonable. So I'm gonna just append some of my answers. The above answer is provided by Ragic AI. Ragic AI's answer is mostly correct, but I would recommend putting all the tabs in the default tab menu set as a better workaround. Yeah, as you can see, when you ask questions to Ragic AI, it does have quite a bit of knowledge. It does understand Ragic. It knows how to. Well, it says answered, and it knows how to answer the question based on real Ragic, the Ragic database knowledge, and it does have access to the full knowledge base of Ragic. Okay, next question. Yeah, let's try to ask Ragic AI to answer this again. Ragic AI, please answer this question for me. The Ragic office, our webinar host. Okay, and while he's answering, I'll take a look at the question. I have a main table with unique client numbers. Okay, then I have a family member table that has a row with a client number and name. Okay, he's quite a bit faster than I am, so. But I'll finish my answer first. I'll finish reading the question first and see how he does. I'll copy his answer first. Wow, that's long. Okay, I have a main table with unique client numbers. Then I have a family member table that has a row with a client number and name. So the table contains multiple rows by client number. Then I have another table of events. Each row contains client number and a date they attend to the event. I want to create a view of all data from the main table with the count of family members, the second table, for a specific event day on the third table. How do I do that? Let me paste the, oh, it's here. Okay, let's review the AI's answer. It's okay, the tape. Let me check if the AI's understanding of your question is correct. Table A, main table, clients. Okay, clients. Table B, family member table, links to A, family table. C, event table. Yes. Okay. So it seems to have a correct understanding of the user's question. Okay, assuming table A, main table, family member table, events table. Okay, to achieve a view showing client data plus the count of family members, conditional on attendance at a specific event day, you need to add fields to your main client table, table A. The count of family members. I'm still a little bit confused. Family table number, row with a client number and name. Table contains multiple rows by client number. What's the relationship between family and clients? Yeah, that's my main question. What's the relationship between family members and clients? Okay, so client number and name. Table contains multiple rows by client number. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use the assumption that AI has of your question because I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if the relationship between clients and members and family members, are they a subtable in the family members? This is a one-to-many relationship or a one-to-one relationship? Okay, get the total family member count. So table A, create a link field that links to table B. Table A, main field, link to table B, family members. So a client sets the create a summary field. Okay, it's using the summary field. This part he's confusing it a little bit with the SQL functions. It kind of makes sense to use a summary field, but a summary field doesn't use a formula on Ragic. So it's confusing two different features on Ragic. And this format is a SQL-like format, so it's not exactly correct. Okay, so the first step when you're connecting when you're connecting clients to family members, so you create a link field on table A that links to table B, then the link key would not be the client number because you're linking to family members. So you should be using family member name as if this is the unique key that he's referring to. Using the family member name as the link key. You should be using your member name as the link key. So create a summary field to summarize the the question is kind of vague and a little bit confusing, so I'm gonna go back to the question again, and maybe I will just write my own answer. Yeah, but this part is not true. I'll just using the function part is not true. I'll just remove it first. You can use it to summarize a link field, but it's not with, you don't need to specify any functions. Okay, step 2, determine attendance for a specific day. This is the most complex part. You need to define a specific event day. You can use a dedicated field in table A or rely on filtering the final view. Yeah, this part is true because we're not sure what you mean by the specific event day. It might be a field on the table, or it's your filtering criteria. So assuming you want to have dynamic calculation based on the fixed target date defined in table A, I don't think. Okay, fine. Let's go with the assumption. In the table A, create a link field that links to table C. Okay, the client's event day using a client number as a link key. This is still kind of weird. You should be used. In my point of view, when you're creating these link fields, you're using the target because if you're creating a linked field on the client sheet, and the field should be choosing an event. So the unique key should be the event date. But event day is not a good it's not a good unique identifier. So let me just change them to better keys. Key and member name, ID, event ID. Key event ID, and this key is client ID. Okay. So this will be using memory number name ID. Okay, and from the, where are we? Using the event ID as the link key. Create a calculation field. You mean a field with formula to check if any link event from table C matches your target date. Since the date range might change, you might need to have a second administrative tree to rely on the final filtering. Yeah, but this create a formula to calculate formula to check if linked event date matches the target date. Okay, since the target often changes, you need a second. Yeah, that's. I'm gonna just remove this because this makes everything a bit too complex. Okay, the best way to handle calculation without a fixed input field is using a calculation field using formula. We call it formulas. Oh, it's referring to summary field? Oh, using summary field and then use a calculation field. Okay. Yeah, but this is hard-coded. Yeah, I think the main problem with this question is that just the question is not very clear. And kind of Ragic AI, the AI just kind of makes because it's not clear, it just makes the whole thing even more complex. Anyway, this is Ragic AI's answer, but I'm gonna I'm gonna keep this and just write my own answer. Above is the answer from Ragic AI. I'm gonna rethink about this question. Yeah, I think there's just too many ambiguities of this answer. I would like to answer this again on the next office hour session, but I would need a more clear sample of what you're referring to because I can't really understand what you mean by these tables. I'm not really sure about the relationships between the clients, family, and events. It would be helpful if you can provide a screenshot of your sheets for the client's family events sheet. It doesn't need to be a working sample. I can help take a look at it and make modification suggestions. Yeah, because right now I just don't really have enough information on what these really mean. I need to understand how these three sheets are related and if they have one too many or many too many relations. Okay, yeah, and understanding if your entities, if your records have a one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-many relationship between these sheets is very important for understanding what the real data relations that will be on the Ragic sheet for your data. So it's very important to really understand what's the actual relationships between these data. Yeah, and this is kind of a nice example of using Ragic AI too. So it's gonna, for a clearer question, it's gonna answer quite successfully and quite well. But if it's a question for this kind of question, I think it does really well. But for these kind of questions, yeah, probably doesn't have enough information, then it's gonna provide kind of a bit more shaky answer. Okay, yeah. But feel free to try this out, and if you have any other questions, just use the Ragic Office Hour question sheet and try out the Ragic mention at Ragic AI function. And I think it could be really helpful for a lot of your team operations, and have AI try to go into your Ragic database and help you out with a lot of stuff. Yeah. And thank you for joining into the Ragic Office Hour session. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to use Office Hour question sheet to ask your questions, and I will be answering your question in 2 weeks. All right, thank you and goodbye.